Yeah? Did you now? Fine work. My end of the bargain then, I suppose.
Yeah,
Was
cough it
holed
up.
up in the old Red Devil's HQ. Place was sealed up tight after the UC shuttered our unit, but we snuck him in the back entrance through the deep mines. Was also going to warn you about spacers down there. Here, the passkey. And I'll let him know there's someone he owes one.
Okay. We. So this one's gotta be. I need those two. Let's see. Okay, let's just start back from the beginning. There we go. Okay.
Out of the red with the trade authority. Can't say I don't appreciate it, but I doubt you came all this way just to do me a favor. Now you want to explain to me why you're going around harassing nefarious old men by wiping away their hard-earned debts? Tissue sample? You came all the way down here for that? Must be some damn important cells. You want to tell me what I'm about to be staring at? A fast-growing pteromorph. That is concerning. Who exactly told you to bring this to me? Adrian. She gave you this? If she made you come all the way for this... Let's get inside. I need to see these cells.
Yeah, it ain't good, Doc. It ain't good at all.
I always enjoy these moments. I keep...
There's 7 though. I don't want to get rid of them.
Gonna ask you to not touch anything. Got some projects in the works down here. I wasn't expecting guests. Oh, and Lou mentioned how you took care of the dead. Can't say I'm thrilled the Trade Authority got their mitts on the research, but I guess that's the price you pay not to live in a cave the rest of your days. All queued up. Let's gaze into this abyss, shall we? All right, just get those cellular markers tagged. Wait, where are the markers? This can't be right. This sample, it's Londinian. I'll need to get this all in a slate. Adrian really gave you this sample. You're not lying to me? Because if you told me this was a hoax, and it'd be the best damn fake I've ever seen, I'd be mad and very, very relieved. Can't just humor an old man, huh?
Nope.
This sample, it's got all the indicators of the worst pteromorph attack in human history. I presume you've heard of Londinian.
Yes.
It was. An entire city wiped off the map. The swarms were so bad, they had to blow the spaceport and seal the place off from the galaxy at large. Not a lot of samples made it off the world from the time of the attack, but the ones that did, well, they look just like this one. I didn't detect any of the telltale signatures this specimen ever sat on a ship while it was alive, either. I don't think it was transported to Tal Ceti. This specimen, it grew there, faster than any pteromorph should. Which means, if we're about to start a new era in human-pteromorph relations, where big, sudden Londinian-style attacks can happen outside Londinian, that's not gonna end well for humanity.
The chances for survival, let alone maintaining any kind of functioning society, would be slim indeed.
So, you lugged this bad omen all the way here. You want to tell me what your plans are for it now? The circle, huh? Could use a drink about now. Here, faster we take the lift to the surface. Not supposed to use it, but given the circumstances, I'm inclined to just ask forgiveness. Let's get going.
Okay.
Is that really her? Adrian.
Percival. My God, look at you. You're an old man now.
You're no hatchling yourself anymore, Major. Our friend here showed me your sample. Suffice it to say,
Not here. Let's talk somewhere more private. Lou said we could use the back.
The red eyes are some badge of honor, I take it? They would be difficult to conceal.
Lou gave me the abridged version of what went down. Yeah, I can't thank you enough for taking care of all that.
makes two of us.
I hope it ultimately didn't end up being too much trouble. Well, that's certainly not what I was expecting you'd have to go through. But thank you. I'm just glad you both came through intact. So, were you two able to get that workup together?
Got it right here. That sample? It's an exact match for the ones from Londinian.
Londinian. That's exactly what I was afraid of.
Not thrilled to be the bearer of that kind of news. That's for damn sure. So tell me you've got some kind of plan for that workup.
Well, right now, we've got more questions than answers. So I've been trying to figure out what it's gonna take to access our old Terramorph data.
Good place to start. What'd you find?
It's in the archives.
The Armistice Archives? Doesn't that mean we'd be dealing with the Cabinet? And the Freestar Collective? And House Varun somehow? Guess we can kiss that approach goodbye.
I didn't think the Cabinet would be willing to hear us out either. But I called in some favors. They've agreed to hear us out on two conditions. One, they want to see this analysis you two have procured. And two, they want to discuss what happened on Tau Ceti. With both of us. Of course, you deserve the full story. Percival and I, we're not just researchers. We were military scientists, ran a division of the UC together that deployed aliens on the battlefield as weapons.
Place I was hiding out. That was our unit's home base.
After some early fits and starts at other facilities, the place eventually became the heart of UC xeno-warfare. A practice that's been banned ever since the armistice went into effect almost 20 years ago. And the UC military cut us loose for what we'd done. Well, it was during that assignment that the UC asked us to explore deploying terramorphs on the battlefield. The project never got off the ground, but the data our team gathered is now sitting in the archives, along with all the other information banned after the Colony War. Under the watchful eye of monitors from all the galactic factions still participating in regular politics. But if we can convince the Cabinet to help us access that data, it'll give us the tools we need to decipher what exactly this sample might mean. And hopefully, how to prevent more attacks like the one that spawned it. I mean, I hope they will, but accessing the archives, it's not 100% up to them. They'll also need the consent of the other signatories of the Colony War Armistice, the Freestar Collective and House Varun, in order to unlock it.
Since neither group is exactly on great terms with the UC at the moment, for various reasons.
Exactly. It's going to mean negotiations and deals and plenty of diplomatic legwork to see this through. But I don't see a better option to solving what's going on here. So, it's gonna be up to us to get them on board. All right. I'm gonna go get this work up into the Cabinet's hands. I'll meet you out front of Mast in New Atlantis.
Good luck. You two are gonna need it.
And yet, what is on my mind at this moment?
Only employees of Damon's Staryard's mining division are authorized to mine resources in
Deluxe condos aren't anything special.
It is your...
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of annoying.
You should inspect your ship for heat leeches every couple landings. They'll cause plenty of havoc if left unchecked.
Only perk is get access to that chest, and that's 70,000. I don't have any other idea how to fix that. That is so annoying. It didn't even do the land animation. Nothing you can do.
Captain! Over here! The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there. My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. I'm the last. A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War, and they never came back. Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it. A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I are different on more than a few levels, but there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked.
The Clone Wars.
He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death, on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned. I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know, considering how much you've done already. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle. Or if you've got any last-minute business to it. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift.
Not gonna lie, it's pretty cool.
I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy. Perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me, too.
But Ve Victus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life.
It's hard to know exactly what might sway them. I'd just be honest about what you saw. A colony wiped out, and a lot of lives lost. Something we don't want anyone else to have to experience.
Huh.
Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons. The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise.
Then I guess it's just a matter of...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue.
That's good.
Here we go. Ah, Captain. Congratulations on joining me.
I'm getting Mass Effect vibes from this table. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? What the fuck are you doing? You just came in through the other door. Okay.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, Terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations.
But this one's new. It's different.
Hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack. Seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium.
Damn.
I would also ask how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act.
50? 50,000?
Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we?
He started
There
it.
should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties. Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data?
Be
I
bad.
don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this
Just taking her word for it as well, then.
So it would seem. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the...
You are correct, but it must be considered that with the data in hand, someone...
That? I hadn't thought of that, Captain.
An excellent point indeed. The other powers would likely be much more inclined to work with us knowing that. Chief Diplomat.
That point is a good one. Very well, you have my agreement. The galaxy is lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to... What was that?
What happened?
Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming, and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
Moving out.
Whole building's on lockdown.
It's at the spaceport too, which is half destroyed because of texture issues.
You! The EM rifle, grab it! Now!
Stop! That's it. Now hit him with everything you've got.
Might wish to lighten your load. One is less likely to survive an ambush when one is weighed down with whatever all that is.
God damn it.
Thank you for what you did.
The way those people were acting.
I don't know. We tried to restrain them,
get them on the train to get... But some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them.
Pheromonic projection. Some terramorphs, they can induce the... It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be... Let's do it.
That's unlocked.
Okay.
No time to waste, Captain. Stash it any other piece of firepower. Let's move.
All citizens are required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
You might back up. Just stand.
Yeah.
Going to be okay. It's not real. Whatever you're experiencing right now, it's not real. You have to put down that floor.
She's trying to tell me what to do.
That was the last one.
Gonna take more than that.
You them? Our experts? We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, but we're barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before, huh? Well, we've got one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
Heard you might be looking for some backup.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as...
We're not UC security. Roger that. We're on you. Eyes open. Don't let them get me.
Hopefully they amount to something.
I'm so mad that New Atlantis, like, it couldn't have happened to like a smaller place I don't go to all the time. Oh.
Nice work, Captain.
The rest of the city is safe, thanks to us. You deserve whatever accolades you have coming. A credit for your thoughts? Did you need...
So annoying. So fucking annoying. I wish I knew a way how to reset it. Like, it doesn't even do the whole like landing thing again. It's just like not loading textures. So annoying.
Guess they weren't kidding about you two. The universe put the right people in the right place.
Need some help here.
Certainly doesn't feel like it. I don't want to think what would have happened if you two hadn't been here.
Just glad we could rise to the occasion. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Okay.
Sometimes I just want to turn off the grav drive so we can float around.
Nothing's getting to the cabinet.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. Let your people all know how much we owe them today.
Yes, ma'am. Heroes were minted down at that
there you are.
spaceport. And that
I
includes
believe
you.
we have some things we should discuss.
The next time Terramorphs
Captain?
rear their ugly heads,
Hadrian,
the UC is going to be ready.
it would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today. As well as an apology.
Damn right
Your
you do.
concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the Cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies
Me.
and all the galaxies
Protagonist, I
are
understand.
facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us? I'm glad to hear it. Now,
Aye, Captain.
we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
Yes. What happened at the spaceport?
Hell yeah. Close. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer Kulkarni. Start getting a plan together for that data.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Chief Yassine, these orders. A Vanguard captain. You... Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require.
That would be me.
That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second-in-command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the Terramorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power, and that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
At this point, I'd be stupid if I didn't.
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varoon.
Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Varoon to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
I couldn't agree more. However, both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but...
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
Are you positive?
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe? Ah, the good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
It sounds as though I will enjoy this.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code.
Certainly. See, good diplomacy is all about the careful application of pressure. We just need to find the squeeze.
UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters. which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an...
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Right,
Now, we
stealth.
recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with it. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information.
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts.
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some...
Ambassador Balmores. When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
The Zealots do not represent House Varun. I am sure there are many within their society who value the same things we do.
Of course. But there is... We're not 100% sure Balmore's actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare. But it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind.
The Varun delegation brought more than a few of their native flora with them when they set up in the embassy. It seems those plants have been allowed to flourish. The embassy is still legally House Varun's sovereign territory. We've snuck in the occasional spy, of course, but we're quite sure he hasn't left the city. I have no doubt.
Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that... Here. This device should get you all the way down to the... And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks.
Now, if you have additional questions or require... I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Be smart out there, Captain.
Okay.
Sorry, but I need sign-off from the
Ah, yes. They build a monument to the people they lost, but not the people they killed.
It could cause an incident. It would mean my job, sir.
I cannot help but notice that the Colony War Memorial is in direct line of sight of this embassy.
Visitors are only allowed in the lobby.
I wonder how many times one side or the other has threatened to close this embassy down over the years.
All that security and they still can't protect their own spaceport. The UC never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment?
No.
Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. She said you were at the spaceport. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives. Some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy.
Yes, we do want it.
Protect us all.
Yes.
I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to feudally... I was afraid. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is, I will not be the one responsible for its release. You're really gonna push this? I'm listening. You know that for sure. That is interesting. I suppose you're right. No one does, Captain. The only question is how to do it. Well, Captain, you make some good points. But if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the following concessions. Your access will be limited. You can only take out the items related to stopping these terramorphs. The monitors will make sure of it. You go in once, you get everything you need on your trip, and never again. And all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved in the oversight. Freestar scientists will watch your people like hawks. So, do we have an agreement? Excellent. Follow me.
Great. Way to act natural, Andrea.
They tell me it should only take a moment. And there. Here, I'll reach out to Deputy McIntyre. We'll coordinate the necessary oversights. Two unlikely allies, I guess.
Wonderful. A lot easier than expected, but that is why I put a point into persuasion. Whoa, this is dope. Not a single person in sight, though.
It is so strange that now, for all reasons, is my first time inside this place. I never had the patience for computer systems.
Great. Ow. Okay.
Winner takes all this today.
No!
Hell yeah.
So, what seems punishment becomes providence. A reminder we can never truly know the Great Serpent's designs for us. You have my thanks, and my apologies for the ordeal you just endured. Come, let us discuss.
Huh.
Not the ideal introduction, I suppose, giving you a grand tour of the embassy via barely functioning intercoms. I do greatly appreciate your persistence. I suspect the Venom tree upstairs has worked itself into more systems than I'd realized. But then again, who could cage such a beauty? Eh? Tell me though, what is it like outside? I heard the broadcast mentioning an attack. Then the embassy was struck with a power surge and then... silence. Has the rest of the city suffered quite so badly?
Kinda.
Is that right, huh? I shall need to have these repairs seen to sooner rather than later. Now, it cannot solely be the Serpent's grace that brought you... and your friend here.
You need not maintain a facade, Kasric. He knows who I am. Who I actually am.
Quite the breach in protocol, Andreja. Something I look forward to discussing further. Once we've established why it is you two have come waltzing through my door uninvited. Now, the broadcast earlier spoke of terror morphs at the spaceport.
Yes.
A worrying occurrence, certainly, but coming here of all places, when all I could provide is some enthused cheerleading and... an archive code. So, the UC requires information. The preservation of life stands as the very purpose of the Ark. But, if I am to grant you For years, House Varun has been known only as an agent of slaughter. We founded this embassy with hopes of shedding that legacy. With little success. In exchange for my code, I require this. You must be the one who ensures it is used for good. Ensure House Varun's legacy is more than just carnage.
Deal.
The knowledge you ask for isn't evil. No knowledge is. It is we who bend it to evil ends.
You have my word as well. And you know that you can trust me.
Well then, I shall not fear. Please, follow me.
I have things I wish to discuss with you. When you have time.
Huh, I like the movie poster.
Let's hope it still works.
Wow. It's so... What are we at? We still got 20 pounds.
And there. Let it be used for good.
Before I say anything else, I wanted to thank you for giving me time. When I first came here, I never expected that I would meet you or feel this way about you. That we would end up here together. I know that you told me you were not going anywhere, but I still worried, if only little, that my asking for time to think would be a problem. There is no precedent for any of this. A romantic relationship not within the bounds of Barun culture, I mean. I wanted to attempt to honor that culture nonetheless. I know, and I love you for that. The point I am trying to get to is that I believe I have an idea. A way I can demonstrate my commitment to you. I was hoping that would be your response. This is between you and me, and no one else. You know who I am. I do not need to explain myself to you as I would to others. They might not understand, and I do not want that distraction. I want to be able to focus on us. So, as soon as you are ready, I want us to travel together to the second planet in the Shosa system.
Shosa. We haven't been there. Whoa, we gotta go do it. We gotta go do it. Why do I need to talk with Sam Coe? Okay.